Brae, Tarryn Fisher, and Colleen Hoover. What made you want to write about an elite for a protagonist? I am aware that Isabel from your books, The Light in the Wood and His Wounded Light, is a high-profile character. What made you want to tell your readers about her story? Is it something you have first-hand experience in?
I wanted to write about something that I was familiar with, and so since I live here and I live that kind of life, it's a normal life for people living here in the Philippines, but it's not a normal life for people in the States. And I wanted to give them a glimpse of that kind of a life because it was just culturally very different, and I wanted to give the U.S. readers a glimpse into that kind of life.
You've both co-written a book. Can you share with us what the experience was like, and will you consider doing it again? And then after, for all three of you, if you were ever to collaborate with another author, who would it be and why?
We just get along. I feel like we're both low maintenance. We pretend not to be. She pretends that she's annoyed with me, but it's not true. She loves me. So it was a really enjoyable experience. We did it for fun, and then we thought we'd share it with the readers. I don't know that I could co-author with anyone else. I think she may be it for me.
I paid her to say all of that. No, it's true. It really was an easy experience. It wasn't something that we had on deadline, so we would just kind of, send it back and forth as we finished our chapters and weren't in any rush. And it's been a lot of fun to work on, and we're still working on it. And the third one releases in January. So, and we're hoping, in the future to do it again. We don't know what we're going to write or when, but we had so much fun. We're like, why not? The readers seem to really love the series, so who knows? Yeah, we just want to do one book next time. We had to do a series this time because of contracts limitations with my publisher, so we really would like to do just one novel next time. I don't know that I could either. Like, I feel like it's very, very hard to rely on someone. And I mean, even when I wrote Maybe Someday and had to rely on Griffin, like, we got along really, really well and it went really well. But I feel like I lucked out with Griffin and Tarryn, and that doesn't always happen. I've seen other authors who've co-written together who now don't speak. Like, it's that stressful. So I wouldn't want to risk any friendships.
I probably don't think I could co-write right now just because my schedule is crazy, and I can't go by someone else's schedule. It has to be by my schedule because I don't really have time to be able to do much.
Christina is actually an AVP of Leo Burnett in Chicago, so she's very busy. And she wrote like The Light in the Wind during going to work.
Yes, I wrote it on the train and on the airplane and the hotel.
My question is for everyone. What do you love best about self-publishing, and what do you find the most vexing as well?
I'm probably the newest to self-publishing these guys, so what I find really difficult, I think, actually, what I've learned is that writing is a really lonely process, and I think for me, self-publishing is the same. It's you just have to have your own resources, have your own editors, have your own readers, and you just have to basically do it all on your own, for me. And it's a good experience, but it's also an experience that you actually do by yourself. So to me, that's what self-publishing is. The good thing about it is that you can write your words and publish them anytime you want. And when you're happy with your words and what you've written, and you feel like it's time to release it out to the world, you basically have your own schedule and you have your own time.
I think that self-publishing is kind of badass because initially they told us that we weren't good enough, or that parts of our story weren't right, and we just went ahead and did it anyway, and it was successful. So it's kind of a defiant movement where we got to create our own success, and I really love that. I think the hardest part is when people don't take you seriously, but they just have to read your books, and then I think they'll take you seriously. But that's what I love about self-publishing, that we got to do it on our own and show everyone that we could.
I think it's a life changer for a lot of people. The three of us wouldn't be here without it. And there's a lot of good, there's a lot that has changed in my life because of it. And I'm with a publisher now, but like I do things on the side, like with Tarryn. My favorite thing is just not having a boss and being able to write and put it out when you want. And it just feels less like work that way. Let me see what's the next thing about it. I think for new authors, just trying to get noticed nowadays. When I first put my book out, there weren't a lot of indie authors, and so it was a lot easier, especially in this genre, to get noticed and get a following. But now, there's just thousands of books being released every day, and as a new author, it's very, very hard to break into it.
I'm just curious, you always seem to have twists in your books. Like, how do you manage to have so many ideas? Like, where do you get your inspiration? Do you Google scandals and whatnot?
That's funny. When I start a book, I have no idea what the twist is going to be. So I don't know. I just kind of let the characters speak to me. I develop the characters first before I develop the plot line. And I'm finding it hard, a lot harder now. I have 12 books out now in the span of less than 4 years. So I keep trying to write these books and keep them new and fresh and not like the last one. And it's difficult, especially when they're all in the same genre. But I don't know. I don't really get inspiration from anywhere in particular. I just kind of wait until it hits me. And November 9 is probably one of the biggest twists that's helped us. So I'm really excited.
So my question is for both Colleen and Tarryn. So you both published your first new adult books back in late 2011, early 2012. Tarryn, I remember the blogosphere freaking out about the Opportunist way back then. So, but back then there wasn't really any famous genre called new adult. What made you decide to write your first NA book?
I didn't. I didn't know what I was writing. I just wrote a book, and then every time I write a book, I never know what genre it's going to end up in. I leave that up to the publishers. To me, the most important thing is to write the story that I'm interested in writing and the characters, and whether that ends up being YA, NA, romantic suspense, it doesn't matter to me. So whether I believe that it's just all kind of happened and ended up in New Adult because New Adult took off right when we first started self-publishing our books, but I had never heard of it. My book was out like 6 months before I even heard the term.
Probably exactly the same for me. I never even heard of the term until about 6 months after someone said, "This is an NA book." I said, "What's NA?" I just thought it was romance.
When I first heard NA, I thought it meant not applicable. What did I do wrong?
So yes, when I write, I just write what I want to write, and then afterwards I determine what genre it fits in.
Can you tell us about your writing process?
Well, I wait to feel something. And then I run with that feeling. So if my heart's just been broken, or if I'm really angry about something, a whole book seems to form around that emotion. And then I try to write every day. I know it's really different for Colleen and Christine, who are in different schedules. Colleen's like manic when she writes. It'll be locked up for a week, right? Where you just don't come out of the room. But I try to set aside a few hours every day. And then I try to put myself in the mindset of the character. So if I'm writing about a serial killer, I'm watching movies. I try to make I kill people in the street all day long. You make me angry, I think of ways to torture you. So I just try to be my character and live it out, which my family gets afraid. But makes it authentic.
I don't really have much of a process. I don't have a schedule. I'm very, very disorganized. But Tarryn's right. Like when I write, I have to have several days blocked off for me to write. I can't just write a little bit every day. And one thing I've noticed is I can't end it on like a sad or depressing scene, because then that's how I'll feel until I go back and finish that scene. So I have to continue writing until I make the characters at least a little bit happy for the time being. And I think that's why I try to put a little bit of humor in every now and then, because there's a lot of sadness in my book, so I'll put a little humor in so that I can stop writing and take a break.
Yeah, so sometimes Tarryn tells me you have to stop writing about your life. So I'm the same way. I run with an emotion, whatever it is I'm feeling. Last year if I'm stressed, or I'm swinging head over heels in love, or angry or whatever, I'll take that theme and make a story out of it. But the one thing that I do is, and Tarryn knows this, is I read the end of every book that I ever read. I always read the end first. And then she gets like really pissed. So I know how I want it to end. That's how I do it. I know what the ending will be, and then I kind of move backwards. So that's kind of my process.
Okay, so I took one writing class back in college, and the only critique that stuck in my mind was when my professor told me that you have to write names of the character. You have to create names that would click. So my question is, did your characters' names just click in your head, or did you have to like mull it over like for a few days before you started writing? And do you think, or how do you think it helps shape the story, like the names of
For
characters?
me, my names always have meaning, so I look up the meanings of names. I use the name generator, Scribbler, and I look up names. For my character, every name, every last name has a meaning. So, Alex, really, his last name is Light, so he was the light of Lisa's life. Or in this life, Dante, he's the second guy in the story, and Dante stands for means enduring. So I chose that name for my character. So I don't really go by what's the newest name in books or what clicks for all these alpha characters or whatever. It's really the meaning of the name for me.
Completely get what you're saying, because sometimes I'll be reading a book and it'll be a really simple name and it sticks with me, just that name over and over, and I always remember. When I'm writing, the name almost just falls in my head. I don't even pause to think about it. I'll be typing and I'll know I'll need a name, and it just happens as I'm writing, and I'll go with it. It's always been that way for me. I never really think hard about the names.
I think for me, the names are the most important part. I cannot start a book until I have the characters' names and I know like what their personality will be. I have a severe case of writer's block right now, and it's not all the story. Like I have the story all in my head. I know what it's going to be, but I don't know the female character's name yet. And so for weeks, I haven't been able. I even run them all by Tarryn, but I haven't been able to work on this book because I don't want to write any of the scenes if I don't know her name. Like I feel like the name helps shape the scenes, and that may be weird because it's just a name, but it's very true. It's very important. And one thing that's very, very important in this genre is to pick a name for the boy that no one else has, because you want your boy name to stand out. And these bloggers, you guys know, everyone knows who Ridge is. They know who Holder is, and but you start getting into other characters. Like Will was my first book. There's a lot of Wills in books, and so it's very important, I think, to try to pick a guy's name that no one else has, so that when a reader or a blogger is talking about this character, other readers, will know who that character is.
Have you ever changed a name of a character in the middle of the story?
Well, I used to use the name Sydney as a filler name, and so I was writing maybe someday just trying to figure out what her name was going to be, and she ended up turning into Sydney. So that's the only time that's ever really happened, but no, I haven't changed the name.
Sometimes I'll sneak in a name of one of my street team members, or a couple of them. So there's always 2 or 3 of them that are in my books.
Hi, this is for Colleen. In Slam, the Avett Brothers lyrics were included in the epigraphs and maybe someday had its own soundtrack. How does music play a role in your writing process, and what are you currently listening to?
It plays a huge role, especially when I'm trying to develop a story in my head. I'll get in my car and just drive nowhere for hours and listen to music. And I'll get on certain songs where I'll listen to them the whole time. November 9, it was Unsteady by Ex-Ambassadors. Love that song. I'm real into Ex-Ambassadors and getting into 21 Pilots right now. My son loves them, and we're going to see them October 1st. I'm so excited. But with Slams, I went in and added those lyrics towards the end of the book, and then emailed their record producer and was like, hey, I'm writing a book, do you mind if I use those? And 10 minutes later, they emailed me back a permission form, so I was like, oh my God. Because they were just huge for me. They're the reason why I started writing. I was actually at a concert, and they sang the lyrics, decide what to be and go be it, and I was like, I need to go do it. I just need to go write a book. And so I started writing a book, and so I attribute a lot of my career to them. I think it's 99% luck. and 1% good writing. That's just me. I feel like it was all timing, and I don't know. Like I don't think there's any one thing you can do to stand out from the rest. It's just a combination of, just working hard, putting everything out there, writing a good story, trying to market it as best you can without being annoying, and hoping it sticks. I mean, there's just so many writers out there, and so many books, and so many great books go unnoticed every day. So it's hard. It's hard to say.
I don't agree with her. Because she's very humble, and we all know that Colleen's an excellent storyteller. And I think you have to have a combination of believable characters, tell a good story, and do it with really strong, beautiful words. And I think the readers respond to that. I mean, you're not stupid. If you're reading a story, that you start to feel it. It was not love. You were good. I think developing a style is really important. And reading as much as you can, and then incorporating pieces of what you love into your own style. I love the way Stephen King, how sharp he is with his description. And then there's certain writers who are their sentences are very kind of short and to the point. And I like to combine all of those things together. And then I created, my own style. I like to write about bad people. Because I think there's a lot of novels out there right now that are, writing about happy, good people that do the right thing. So, just trying to take a new perspective on something that's been done a million times before. Only you can see the world like you see it. And if you can put that into writing and share it with the rest of us, it'll be unique because it's your thoughts, the way you process things.
I don't have a way. I just write. And I self-publish, and that's it. I don't
Practice your words.
I don't know.
Word in your sentences. And you tell the truth.
Yeah, that's it.
Pretty.
She knows.
I'll tell you about them.
You have written a lot of books, which means you have created so many characters with different lives, different interests, views, etc., etc. I'd just like to know what it's like to have them all inside your head, hearing their voices.
It's very, very weird. Before I started writing, I didn't live inside my head as much as I do now. But now, you're constantly developing your story in your head. You're constantly developing your characters. You're constantly listening to other characters, and you never listen to your husband, and you never listen to your kids. I feel like since I started writing, I live in this fantasy world, and I visit my house every now and then. And it's just weird. I don't feel like I live in reality anymore. Yeah. I think writing makes you crazy. I really do. And my husband, my son, he's my 11-year-old. He gets very, very annoyed with me, and he'll say, "Mom, Mom, Mom," and I tell him all the time, I'm like, just say "Mom," and then ask me your question. You don't have to wait for me to say what. But he's like, "But you never say what." That's why I have to make sure you're listening. So they've noticed that I'm never there when I pretend to be. But I work on it, I really do, but I live in my head a lot.
What do you consider more when writing a new novel? To surpass the success of your previous books, or to simply share your words with your readers?
I don't ever try to surpass the success of my previous books, only because Hopeless did so well that I don't think I'll ever beat that, so I don't try. I try to make myself happy. I feel like if I can't make myself happy and I'm not happy with the characters in the book, then I don't care if it hits the New York Times. It's not going to matter to me because ultimately I want to be proud of it.
I don't think about anything when I'm writing. I just want to get the story out. I don't care if it is successful. I don't care who likes it. It's really just all about me. It's a very selfish process thingy.
I tell Tarryn all the time, I'm like, "Tarryn, you'll sell more books if you just give us a happy ever after." She doesn't care. She doesn't write for the money. She doesn't write for the readers. She just writes what she wants to write, and I love that about her.
It's the same for me. Actually, last week I've gotten done with the last book in this life, and the agent was about ready to pitch it. And so they called me and they asked me a question. They said, "So they want you to tell them how the Light the Wound went. How many did you sell? How many books did you sell? What were your sales?" And it took me like a day to get back to them because I was so embarrassed because I've never checked. So I'm so busy with my life. that I just write and I publish and then I don't look back. So I don't even look at how many I sell or how much money I make. I just see the 10 cents go into my bank every other month. But I just write because I have so many words to tell people. And as long as you do that and you're happy with that, I think no matter what happens with your writing career, you'll be fine.
I just want to say thank you so much for this trip. It has been surreal. We've seen how excited you guys are since we announced the trip, but I don't think until we got here we really realized, wow, this is huge. These guys are awesome, and to see that you guys stand in line forever for us, and it's just a surreal experience. And this is by far one of the best trips I've ever taken. So thank you for that.
I mean, we all travel a lot, but I can say from personal experience that I've never encountered such kind and happy, genuine people as the Filipino readers. And I really like you, and this is one of my favorite trips too. So I think you have a lot to teach the world about how to be and how to act. So thank you for being wonderful.
Everything they said, and thank you so much for everything, for welcoming us here. And I'm so proud to be here, and I'm so proud to be one of you. And I'm going to go back to the States and make you more proud of me. So thank you for your welcome.
It's Brae. Thank you for watching this vlog and thank you for being here today. It was so nice to meet you and thank you for such hospitality and love. Bye, Philippines!
Hi, I'm Tarryn Fisher. Thank you for watching Tomebound.
Hi, I'm Colleen Hoover. Thank you for watching Tomebound.